Hey, I'm Mike TV of the band Get Set Go, and I've been spending this past week thinking about the way I think, and how it is that sometimes I will make a plan, for instance, to go to bed early and get a good night's rest, and then I'll get a call from someone, and the next thing you know, I'm out at a bar till 2 a.m. How does that happen? Why does that happen? And how did the me that's talking to you right now, the guy that makes the plans and sets the agenda, how did that guy get overruled? Let's take the Wayback Machine to January of 2010, and I have just returned to Los Angeles after a really difficult and emotionally taxing 2009 in the Bay Area. It was a year where I broke up with my girlfriend of 7 years. I was selling recruiting software for an internet startup. I was living in Berkeley, working on the peninsula, and if you know the Bay Area at all, you know that I was spending at least 4 or 5 hours a day just getting to and from work. But the most frightening aspect of this awful 2009 was that I almost successfully walked away from making music. I didn't play any live shows that year, and I only wrote 9 songs, which for me is awful. Typically, I write between 50 and 100 songs each year. So upon returning to Los Angeles, I was hell-bent on reinvigorating my career. And in just a few short weeks, I was talking to venues about setting up a new residency where I'd book the whole night. I was going to try to re-energize the old scene, or barring that, I could create a new one. I was writing 1 or 2 songs a day. I was re-engaging with my bandmates. I mean, I was back with a vengeance, and there was nothing that was going to stand in my way. Well, except now in hindsight, the only thing that was going to stand in my way was actually me. See, I used to be a drug addict, and I was a pretty terrible drug addict. I mean, I was terrible in the sense that I was not very good at it, mostly because I kept almost dying. For instance, I would shoot up heroin without paying attention to the fact that I already had Vicodin or some other opiate in my system. So in drug parlance, I would nod out. And of course, my druggy friends, rather than rushing me to the hospital, they would just shove some ice down my pants and then wait. And this kept happening until my drug use got so horrible that on July 3rd, 2003, a couple months before Get Set Go's very first tour, I had a drug-induced stroke. The sort of stroke where I woke up on the floor of my drug dealer's one-room apartment and the right side of my body was paralyzed. I couldn't speak English. I mean, it was like you are in serious peril sort of stroke. But of course, drug dealers being drug dealers, they didn't call the paramedics or get me any real assistance. Literally, they just ignored me. And they went on dealing drugs with me on their floor. So I just spent the next 24 to 48 hours lying there, trying to recover feeling. First, I started with my hand, and once my hands could clench and unclench, then I moved to my feet and legs. And I don't want to belabor this, but and maybe in a future episode, if I feel like we can handle something this dark, I can explore this whole thing at greater length. But the only reason I share this is to convey that I had a full and deep and abiding knowledge of how dangerous drugs could be. I knew the damage they did to my body, my psyche, my heart, my head. I knew how they undermined my confidence, my sense of self-worth, my ability to form genuine and true friendships. I mean, I'd been a poster child for the dangers and pitfalls of drug use. So part of me was a bit scared about moving to downtown Los Angeles because if you know where to go, you can score all the hardcore drugs you want right there on the street. And unfortunately, I did know where to go. So here I was, moved into my very clean little recording studio / apartment, working all day long on music, and then in the evening heading out to bars to see bands play, or heading over to Casey's to hang out with my drink and draw friends, or going to band practice. But every time I got a little booze in me, my buddy Schmed and I used to have this little mantra. It went, 1 beer leads to 2 beers, 2 beers to 3, and 3 to downtown. So here I was, hellbent on reinvigorating my career, rebuilding the scene, writing as many good songs as it was possible for one person to write, getting the band practiced up and back into shape. I mean, all of these important, labor-intensive, hard-to-do-well activities. So I hope you understand how surprised I was to find myself scoring $40 of crack cocaine and $40 of heroin from someone on the streets of downtown LA. The good thing, however, was that each time I did this, and there were multiple times that I tried this, because apparently I need to keep touching the burning hot pan on the stove over and over again to confirm that yes, it is indeed burning hot. But the good thing was that each time I smoked crack or heroin, I immediately felt myself right back in the place I was in 2003. I felt the same sense of despair and self-loathing, and I was like, no way in hell. No way am I going back to this. And I'd just throw the drugs in the toilet and flush them away. But this behavior of mine really weirded me out. Why was I doing this? I knew drugs were terrible for me. I knew exactly where they led. I lived through the deepest, darkest, most despairing years of my life because of drugs. I burned friendships, lost lovers, watched friends die. Why the hell would I even flirt with this? And it was then I realized, oh, maybe my head is not just me. The me that's talking to you. Maybe the me that's speaking right now is just the captain of a crew. Or like the Speaker of the House in Congress. In fact, actually that works better because there's so much conflict, so much internal conflict. I mentally am comprised of cravings and impulses, drives, desires, needs, perspectives, and they're all sometimes working against each other. I have wants. I want to be healthy. I want to live a long life. I want to be successful. But I also have impulses. I hate self-entitled drivers and want to let them know by honking and flipping them off. I want to give homeless people money, even if they're standing there drinking a beer. I have needs, my need for love, my need to write songs. I have perspectives on abortion, on guns, on climate, on business. And all of these different drives, they're very often at odds with each other. And there are moments when I will make plans, I'll come up with a sensible, rational, well-reasoned agenda, and then bam! I have no control over myself. 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 I'm the speaker in Congress of impulses. I'm the speaker in a Congress of drives. I'm the speaker in a Congress of proclivities. I'm the speaker in a Congress of appetites. I have no control over myself. 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 The floor recognizes Congressman alcohol and Congressman cocaine and Congressman fuck you all and Congressman selfishness and Congressman helplessness. You have the floor. The floor recognizes every single impulse, each and every single one, and it's impossible to get anything done. So every time I find myself doing something on its surface that seems irrational or impulsive or out of left field, it really feels like I'm just getting outvoted. I brought a measure to the floor, let us go to bed and get plenty of rest, and the opposition was like, nope, and they had more votes. I'm the speaker in a Congress of impulses. I'm the speaker in a Congress of desires. I'm the speaker in a Congress of urges. I'm the speaker in a Congress of appetites. I have no control over myself. 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 Hey, I I'm Mike TV, and this is Hesitation Cuts Episode 4, the series where I, your intrepid host, lead you on an adventure through the treacherous, man-eating jungles of independent music and songwriting. Today we discuss the internal struggles inherent in the business of making cool things and sharing them with the world, how expectations can be managed, how one can keep themselves motivated year in and year out, and how to deal with the intense fear and self-doubt. So if my head is a congress of impulses and desires and such, and the me that's speaking to you is the speaker of the house, I think the two major parties, to really hammer this metaphor into the ground, is the party of the heart, or the emotional self, and the party of the head, the intellectual self. And I've definitely had people try to hold me to account over this in my Twitch stream. Mike, they would say, it's all just you. You can't separate out your head and your heart. You can't pretend that they're different things. And I have responded au contraire. The things that I feel about something, the hopes and desires I have for a possible outcome, are often at complete odds with my data-driven, rational thinking self. For instance, when I'm working on a new record and that album is starting to take shape and I'm listening to the rough mixes of the songs and those songs are sounding really good, I start to grow ever more ebullient, ever more hopeful. This song is amazing. And the one just before it too was amazing. And oh my gosh, maybe this will be the album that finally goes viral. Maybe I'll put this album out and a few thousand of my listeners will listen and be like, oh my God, this album is brilliant. Mike's a genius. And then they'll share it with their friends and their friends will share it with other people. And the next thing you know, I'll be the taste du jour. Everyone will be singing my songs. The press will want to know where I've been hiding all these years. And not only will they be excited about the new album, it'll breathe new life into all my older albums. Ha ha! And on and on and on and on. It gets exhausting. And so in order to balance that overzealous pining, I have to remind myself that I've done this 21 times, 21 albums. And yes, some of them, for whatever reason, did much better than the others, but not a single one did very well by itself. Every bigger release I ever put out had a helping hand. Grey's Anatomy, Weeds, my friends on the NSFW/Night Attack/Great Night podcast, and myriad other little boosts that help raise awareness. So why would I think that the album by itself is going to cut through the white noise? I mean, yes, it does happen. Occasionally a new band drops on the scene with an EP or a single and everyone goes gaga. But is that my business model? Am I trying to capture lightning with an oven mitt? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But a part of me just can't let go of the hope. That earnest desire to be recognized for all of the hard work and the passion and the skillful crafting of music that's been honed and vetted in front of live audiences for 2 decades. And the funny thing is, I'm actually not working with a complete set of tools. I don't know as much about music theory as I should. I'm not nearly as skilled a guitar player or piano player as many of my friends. But even so, I work with what I have. And I've made a lot of music. And so Team Heart, in instances like this, says, hey, Team Head, stop raining on our parade. Stop dwelling on all the things that can bring us pain with making music. Just let us feel the joy of making stuff. Let us imagine the possibilities. Let us revel in the fact that we have something new and beautiful that brings us all the good, warm feelings that go along with making beautiful things. Just stop being such a downer. You think maybe we ought to get away? You say that maybe we should make a break and head for the hills with the rifles and our canteens. You say that maybe we should disappear. You say there's just too much trouble here, there's too much to fear. Oh, there's too much that can go wrong. Don't you worry, we will work it out. There's nothing that can tear us down. And the dangers that lie ahead, we'll face them down. Don't you worry, we will work it out. There is nothing that can tear us down. And the dangers that lie ahead, we'll face them down. Let's stick around. You've heard too much about everything. Sometimes you just gotta let it be and take the ride. It's a fun ride most of the time. So take your worries and all your woes and put them down, please let them go and just dig the ride. it's alright most of the time. Don't you worry, we will work it out. There is nothing that can tear us down, and the dangers that lie ahead, we'll face them down. Don't you worry, we will work it out. There is nothing that can tear us down, and the dangers that lie ahead, we'll face them down. Let's stick around. And the big reason why I love making music is because when I am working, all the worry disappears. It's just me and the song. And all of the woe, self-doubt, frustrations, the fretting, I can box them up and put them on the shelf to be displayed later. Hey everyone, here's my pain. Does it resemble yours? I know it's difficult. I know it's hard to let things go. I know it's troublesome. But I want to let you know. Oh, I want to let you know. Yes, I want to let you know. Don't you worry, we will work it out. There is nothing that can tear us down, and the dangers that lie ahead, we'll face them down. Don't you worry, we will work it out. There is nothing that can tear us down, and the dangers that lie ahead, we'll face them down. Let's stick around. And of course, Team Heart isn't wrong. I mean, here I am, almost exactly 20 years after I released my first record, and I'm still doing it. So something is working. I still find joy in writing songs, in arranging and recording and mixing and sequencing. Every aspect of the record-making process is still a delight for me. But then again, I had to carefully weed out all of the aspects that I do that made my endeavors feel more like a job than a passion. For instance, my Twitch stream was a pretty decent moneymaker for me for a couple years. But what happened was, because the business model around Twitch is tips, or mostly, but also subscriptions, if I didn't make a lot of money, if I didn't get tipped well enough, it felt like a bad stream. If I didn't play in front of a large crowd or an ever-increasing size crowd, it felt like a bad stream. And I started to devalue the streams where I didn't achieve whatever metric I was going for that day, which is absurd. Because in this day and age, with constant free content being thrown at us 24/7, all day long, all the time, if anyone shows up and expresses interest in my songs, well, that's something that should be treasured. And if only one person is watching, I'm going to play my heart out for that person because that's what I love to do. And it shouldn't matter if I'm playing in front of one person or 10,000 or 50 million. So I did a little plus and minus column evaluation of my stream. What were the benefits and what were the drawbacks? And I realized that the biggest thing that Twitch brought to my life, the one thing that I couldn't find anywhere else as easily, was just the constant practice of my absurdly oversized oeuvre in front of a group of friends and supporters that actively wanted to hear my songs. And so I went to work whittling out all the parts of my stream that made streaming for me toxic, and it's been awesome ever since. And if you look at that process, that was sort of a collusion between Team Heart and Team Head. Team Heart was saying, hey, this doesn't feel right. And Team Head's like, all right, let's figure this out. So Team Heart certainly is still a big part of why I keep on keeping on. The love and joyful surrender to the song, letting it become what it wants to become in the writing and recording and performing process is awesome. It's wonderful. But Team Heart can also go really overboard. Particularly the more time I spend with a project, the more love I pour into it, the more attention to detail, the more carefully I tweak and polish and perfect, I start to feel that the attention of others is my due. I start to feel like because I have made something that the average bear couldn't make, it's my right to expect their attention. It's my right to capture the hearts and minds of my listener. And down that road, my friends, lies utter madness. Because as I've explained at the top of this episode, I don't even have full control of myself. So how the heck can I expect to make demands of anyone else, right? I mean, I can incentivize, I can offer perspectives and songs and community that many people seem to really enjoy. But I shouldn't feel, just because I worked exceptionally hard to make something, that people are going to find value in that effort. And that's where Team Head comes in. That's where my head has to say to my heart, hey man, look, just focus on what we can control. Drop the excessive hoping and the wishing and the pining. Just focus on the work. Because, man, when those expectations aren't met, and when my hopes are dashed, and when I feel like I've wasted a couple thousand hours, and actually, of course, I've never wasted any time. Working on music is never a waste of time, even if it's just practice for the next thing I do. But when those expectations come crashing down, when those hopes explode in your face, well, that's when Team Head, the party of the head, has to show up and set things straight. She's a little engine of hope, you really effed us up by hoping on and dreaming careless dreams. And every time you conjure up another goddamn hopeless wish, but you just don't learn, you just can't learn, it seems. What you just don't see is how much your hope hurts me. There's nothing worse than wishing on a star. So stop your hoping now, and let's figure out just how we're gonna get a little further than we are. Can we do that, please? 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 And this is a constant tug and pull between my emotional self and my intellectual self. Sometimes I get so despondent, so despairing, that I have to forcibly remind myself why I do what I do. So it's critical that the projects I work on are important to me. I have to feel like only I can tell the story, because if only I can tell it and I don't, well then the story is gonna go unheard. Inconceivable. You silly little maker of wants, you never give it up. There's always something else you feel we need. But can't you see that everything that's good that's ever come to us was a result of work and sweat and bleeding? What you just don't see is how much your hope hurts me. There's nothing worse than wishing on a star. So stop your hoping now, and let's figure out just how we're gonna get a little further than we are. Can we do that, please? 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 It's incremental steps. 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 Oh, can't you see? What you just don't see is how much your hope hurts me. There's nothing worse than wishing on a star. So stop your hoping now, and let's figure out just how we're gonna get a little further than we are. Can we do that, please? 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 Yeah, right? Can we just please focus on the work? But, and this is one of the problems with having done this for as long as I have, and having written as many songs as I have, and having had such spotty success as I have, is that I'm left to wonder, have I just outstayed my welcome? And then that thought opens up the massive vault of insecurity, self-doubt, fear, trepidation, and every other unwanted, unwelcome, but oh so familiar feelings that have paralyzed me and forced me into defensive postures when I should have been more overt, or just muted my naturally enthusiastic person. You know, I love falling in love with people and ideas and projects. I'm a natural born cheerleader. I am great at getting behind things. I'm an excellent advocate, just so long as they have nothing to do with me and my efforts. For some reason, I can extol the virtues of any songwriter I know and sell them to even the most hardened audiences. I know this because I did this every single Tuesday night at Mr. T's. I can sing the praises of someone in a way that feels genuine and earnest and insightful because it is genuine and earnest. And I do bring my entire intellect to bear when trying to understand what makes my friends so exceptional. But when it comes to my own stuff, I mean, it took me 27 years of writing and performing before I felt, yeah, hey, I'm pretty okay at this. 27 years. Is it going to take me another 27 years before I feel comfortable saying, hey, my music is exceptional? It's exceptional because I put in the work. I've vetted these songs in front of thousands of people, and I've taken my years and years of hard-fought experience and I've applied it to making these songs. And that means, at the very least, they're worthy of your ears. Because right now, I am way more likely to feel like I'm losing my audience. I have so many albums in stores. Is another new record going to tip the scales? I don't think so. And frankly, maybe my story, maybe my message is not a story that people want to hear, And that is a scary proposition. When the doubt creeps in, I wonder, does my voice even matter? Am I helping anyone? Or am I just making it easier for them to lean into their dysfunction and hurt and heartbreak? Is my music really just poison? And then the slide begins. And as my heart slides deeper and deeper into the abyss, I start to consider that maybe my contributions to this world are only pain and venom and vitriol and bitterness, spite, misanthropy. Maybe the reason I haven't succeeded is because no one wants my message. I mean, that's where my brain goes, often, many times a day. Every song we sing is pointless. Every song we write is trash. It's no wonder that we're barely holding on. Why do we even ask? Everything we make is worthless. Every note we sing turns sour. Everything we've ever written only serves to prove that we've been wasting hours. Oh, I know we don't know why we do the things we do, but maybe we can finally just stop. Stop, 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 stop. Every song we sing is poison. Every word we sing is pain. So why can't we just stop singing these songs and let go of these old refrains? Everything we do is failure. No one really gives a fuck. All we gotta do is simply walk away and disappear, 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 disappear. Every song we sing is special. How nice if that was true. But no one ever seems to be listening, so what are we gonna do? Everything we do is nothing, and nothing might be too much. Everything we touch seems to crumble away. Our touch turns it all to dust. Oh, I know we don't know why we do the things we do, but maybe we can finally just stop. Stop, 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 stop. Every breath we breathe is labor. Every step we take is hard. Every song is fucking pointless. Why do we work so hard? Everything we do is failure. No one really gives a fuck. All we gotta do is simply walk away and disappear, 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 disappear. And that impulse to just disappear has been with me since I was a little kid, man. To just escape all this chaos, all this self-loathing, all this self-doubt, the fear, the worry, the heartbreak, the disappointment. It's a big ask to not only carry this around, but to also write songs about it, because it's a frightening prospect telling people that not only do you not have your shit together, but you're in constant danger of just escaping any way you can. Booze, sex, video games, drugs, books, movies, podcasts. I mean, yes, even guns and self-harm hold a little allure, and it's scary admitting this, and it's scary sharing it. But in 2006, my album Ordinary World came out, and it was really intended as my last album. I didn't think there was going to be another. So I put on the record as many songs as could fit on an 80-minute CD. I just put the songs I thought would be a fitting epitaph because I thought my life was over. So it was honest and very frighteningly open about all of my drug addiction and self-harm and self-loathing. And it worked. With a certain sort of music fan, Ordinary World really resonated. And it was after I started receiving messages from people with whom Ordinary World did resonate, and they shared their stories of pain and their ways of pushing the pause button, their ways to escape, and they relayed that my music helped them overcome and endure and in some cases heal. Well, man, I was like, okay, sure, I can sign up for that. I can do this. As hard as it gets sometimes, as frightening as it gets, as difficult as it gets, staring down another month of unpaid bills and wondering where the money's going to come from. Okay, I can do this. If this is the reaction some people, the people that need it, are going to have, sure, I can keep on keeping on. And so when those moments of intense self-doubt do strike, when I don't know where to go next or how to proceed, when I wonder why so few people are listening when so many millions did before, when I feel like my music is nothing, no, actually not nothing, worse than nothing, that it's a thief of time, that it is stealing minutes from people, stealing their precious seconds they'll never get back. When I'm at my most despairing and most critical and most self-loathing, I have to remind myself what I do. Not everyone can do it. My thinking head has to tell my despairing heart that my music is worth listening to. Hey there, brother, don't despair. Yeah, we breathe, we turn into the music and the songs we share. Every note penned earnestly, every note is paid for by our wounds, our woe and suffering. Look at us and the music we bring. Hey there, brother, don't give in. Just because we don't know what to do, we mustn't stop singing. Come on, brother, let us write. Let us write a brand new song that we can sing again tonight. Look at us and the music we write. Oh, this song we sing without us, oh, this song it wouldn't be. Oh, this song we play without us, oh, this song is never made. Each song is a page in my autobiography, a story that can be read in sequence or on shuffle, but it's always as honest and as true as I can make it, because the only thing I can share with the world is my story. It's all I got, and I tell it through song, and hopefully the people who need it get to hear it. Hey there, brother, look around. Everything we've got we paid for by making pretty sounds. Hey there, brother, it's alright. May not listen, but even so, we've got a song tonight. Look at us and the music we write. Oh, this song we sing without us. Oh, this song it wouldn't be. Oh, this song we play without us. Oh, this song is never made. Oh, and when we go, we will split into 1,000,000 quarter notes. Oh, when we're gone, we will become the song. Hey there, brother, don't give up. There's not that many people that can do what we do, and we do so much. Don't you give in to despair. There's not that many people that can snatch a melody out of thin air. Don't you dare give a damn. So that's the end of our episode. Being creative, pulling ideas, melodies, lyrics, pages, whatever it is you do out of thin air, and then realizing them, that's magic. But it does also open you up to all manner of intense internal conflicts. Is this good enough? Does my voice matter? Does it have legs? Can it find an audience? And figuring out a way to manage that internal conflict, particularly if you're new to it, it's just going to take time. Like with everything that requires skill, it takes practice. But as I've said before, your voice is important. Your story matters. Each time you tell it, you get a little better. So stick with it, keep working, and know that there are people out there that want to hear you. Oh, Patreon news. As I mentioned in episode 2, here's my Patreon patron, Bill Whites, talking about my song, Child of God.
When Child of God came out, I remember you said it was a failed attempt at a ghost story. And the funny thing to me is the singer says something like, I know I should be afraid, but I love the sound of her voice. And I have so much feeling for the girl in your song. It makes me think of That's the Way by Led Zeppelin. And, you know, That's the Way is one of Led Zeppelin's gentle, sad songs, just kind of like this one. And That's the Way is about wanting to play with the boy next door and not being allowed to because he's different. It's an unusual song for them, just as Child of God is unusual for you. I can relate to it. I never had a friend die on me when I was a kid, but I was introverted, and true friends were rare, and all that is still true. So I relate to the feeling. It rips my guts out to lose a friend. I'm trying to behave better so I don't lose many. It's a process.
Dagnabbit, it is a process, right? But thank you, Bill. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm already sorting out right now exactly how I want to use Child of God in an upcoming episode, for which Bill will also get credit. And if you too want to be featured in an upcoming episode and you're not a patron of mine, you can change that just by going to patreon.com/getsetgo. And if you are a patron, just reach out to me at hesitationcuts@gmail.com and tell me about a song I wrote that means something to you and why it means what it does. And if you're selected, we will work together to capture a quote that I can use on the stream. So that's it. Thank you very much, everybody. I love you all. Be well. Eat your veggies. Live forever.